Okay, now that I have my manifold design like I want it, it's time to put it together. The design I've chosen is more compact. You usually leave a lot more space in between the fittings so that if you need to cut them and add other things on them, you can. In my case, I don't mind having to rebuild a whole manifold. You'll see here it only takes a few seconds, and I've set this up in a way where I don't expect to do any cutting in the main part of it, which is why I have threaded fittings here and threaded fittings here, so I'll be able to take it apart if I need to. I've gone ahead and I've primed all of my places where I'm going to glue today, including all of the the pieces that are going to join the T-fittings here. These are 2 1/4 inches because it's 1 inch in each side of the hubs, and I only want about 1/4 of an inch space in between it. So I've gone ahead and cut those, pre-primed them to make this a little bit faster. And so now I'm just going to put it together. The other thing that I've done here is I put these hash marks on here, and that's so that when I put it together, sometimes it's hard to see if everything's aligned right. But this will let everything be aligned pretty much perfectly so that it'll all go together nice and level, and it'll sit right and be aligned correctly. So I'm just going to move these out of the way because I don't want to drip anything on them. And start by just taking these 2 pieces and put the glue, the cement actually, it's not really glue. And the key thing with these is you want to make sure you give them about 1/4 of an inch turn and hold. And the reason that you do that is because cement is not actually glue. It actually is a solvent, and it dissolves the PVC much like melting it, so that when you put these pieces together, I'm going to line up my hash marks there. That's how I know I can get it nice and level. When you put these pieces together, it's actually smaller on the inside of the hub, so as the pipe gets pushed in, it fits tighter. And what that does is when the PVC is dissolved by the cement, you want those 2 surfaces to flow into each other. Basically, they're melting into each other, so that's why it's important to give them that twist, because it's not just glue. You know, you really want to do it like that, and you can feel it set in there. So you want it to be nice and tight, and you want those 2 surfaces to bond together. Some there. Again, I'm going to line up my hash marks there so I know it's perfect. I usually wipe them off a little bit to get the excess off. So far so good. On this end piece here, I've decided to make this one a little bit longer because I'm actually not going to put a valve on this one. I'm going to put a drain valve, but I made it longer because if I do cut it and I want to put another valve, I've got some room to work with there. Notice unlike the other straight pieces of pipe here that connect the fittings, this one actually did put the marks on it, and it's because they're longer and I can't, it's a little bit harder to line it up with the eye. If you're good, you don't really need to put the hash marks if you're experienced with it. I could probably not have to use them. I just think it's an easy thing to do, and you can be sure it's going to be accurate, no worries. Okay, so first piece is done here. And so now we're ready to put the valve pieces on. Exact same process here. One more to go for the valves. You always want to make sure you're in a well ventilated area and not breathing this stuff. It can be very toxic. Better to do this outside. Those pieces are on, so now we just need to do the final part. Again, using my hash marks to line those two guys up. Second valve goes on. And then heavier this thing gets, the more awkward it is to hold in one hand, but we're almost done. And that's it. There you go. You can see that they're perfectly aligned. Very easy, didn't take very long to do. And that's it. That's how you put together a irrigation valve manifold.